Welcome to The Peak, where becoming your best self is our goal. I'm Ashley Russo, and on this week's episode, how a mentor can impact a child's life, interesting places to explore, and how St. Luke's is helping make home safer in our community. All that and more coming up on The Peak. Having a person to look up to can change a child's life. Let's see how Joel learns from his big brother, Brian.
Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the Lehigh Valley is a national organization that provides mentorship to youth in our community. Hi, my name is Tyrone Fisher. I am the Director of Volunteer Engagement here with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of the Lehigh Valley. We are making a difference in changing kids' lives. We focus on the potential in every child, and our role is to defend that potential.
I'm Joel, and I'm in 6th grade. I love Big Brother, Big Sister because it lets kids that are inside to get out more.
The mentor is important for them because it helps them to kind of come out of their shell, gives them opportunity to be more confident in themselves and gain some self-esteem, and also just gives them opportunity to see other things and go other places.
My name is Brian Hirsch. I'm a Big Brother. I actually first heard about Big Brothers because I played in a golf tournament that was to raise money for Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and that's kind of what sparked my interest on it. They just went through everything with me just to learn about me, and so I could learn about the organization and just make sure it was going to be a good fit for what I was looking for. I wanted to make sure that I was matched up well with whoever they were going to match me up with, and ended up being Joel.
Well, the Bigs have a big impact on the youth lives. The first way they impact their lives is just by being a good role model and an example. And the experiences that they give the youth here in the Valley is just unbelievable. The mentors and the littles spend about maybe 4 hours a month together. And we focus on that time, but not just the time they spend, but the difference they make in the lives of each youth that they're supporting.
He loves doing the outdoor activities. He's really talkative. I mean, every time we're together, we're pretty much talking the entire time, so definitely have a good connection.
It's really nice to have Brian. I love it. I learned from Brian to be motivated and stay happy through tough times.
One of the big things is our Big Stories program, where the kids that have been here for about 7 or 8 years that are graduating from high school. So it's nice to see those guys graduate and to see them just go to the next level. And to see the difference that our program has made in their lives is just priceless.
I think it's just great because it's a good program for kids like Joel and people like myself just to kind of pair up and hang out and share experiences and be a good influence in each other's lives. I mean, I definitely learned things from him too, and he learned things from me, and I think it just kind of goes both ways, and it's just a great program and a great organization for that.
It's amazing how just a little volunteer time can make a big difference. Now let's check in with Holly as she explores interesting places in the region.
Lehigh Valley is rich with history, so much so that several landmarks can be found on the National Register of Historic Places, like here at the Burnside Plantation. What you might come to expect when visiting the Burnside Plantation is an old 6.5-acre farm, but what you'll find is so much more than what meets the eye. The property includes a restored farmhouse, 19th century barns, an orchard, and more. It's operated by the Historic Bethlehem Museums and Sites and is open year-round for public events and workshops, including the Blueberry Festival. Many come here to have a quiet, educational afternoon or simply for a walk through the orchard to picnic in. To tap into the past at Burnside Plantation. The history of the area stretches long before settlement. The Museum of Indian Culture is the state's oldest Native American heritage museum, and it's great for all ages. It's the site of many yearly festivals and community gatherings and goes way back into the area's past. The Museum of Indian Culture explores Native American heritage over a 36-year period. Check out guided tours and hands-on exhibits like learning how to grind corn using a mortar and pestle, making a fire using a softwood fire kit, and trying your hand at the ancient American Indian hunting implement. The museum also showcases Native American tools, basketry, artwork, photographs, textiles, and breadwork. August brings the Roasting Ears of Corn Festival, and September, a fun-filled children's craft and life skills event. Fast forward a little bit to the canal age. The city of Easton highlights the golden age of canals with Hugh Moore Park's picturesque National Canal Museum. A tour along the 2-mile restored Lehigh Canal makes the perfect activity for groups of any age. Visitors can listen to the tales of the olden days on the Lehigh River, visit one of the few remaining lock tenders' houses, bike the lovely Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Trail, enjoy a picnic lunch, or bring your binoculars and take a bird walk. Not only can guests explore one of the country's largest canal heritage museums, the big draw here is riding one of the country's only mule-drawn canal boat rides. The 520-acre park nestled between the Lehigh Canal and Lehigh River is a throwback to the years when mules pulling canal boats on narrow towpaths was a common sight in much of the United States east of the Mississippi River. Enjoy a leisurely ride on the canal boat as you take in the scenery around you. And don't forget to say hello to Hank and George, the canal boat mules. Ignite the curiosity in you. Lehigh Valley is just waiting for you to explore it. I'm Holly Harrow with Discover Lehigh Valley, and that was a peek at the valley.
Thanks, Holly. I love learning about history and different cultures. Up next, find out how to get your heart pumping with tips from St. Luke's. Stay tuned, you're watching The Peak. Did you know that adding dumbbells to your workouts can be beneficial to building strength? Check it out.
Hi, I'm John Graham, Senior Network Administrator for Fitness and Sports Performance at St. Luke's University Health Network. Today I'm here with Patrick Babin to demonstrate exercises for a dumbbell exercise workout.
Thanks, John. My name is Patrick and I'm one of the exercise specialists here at St. Luke's Fitness and Sports Performance Center here at the West End location. We're going to talk about dumbbells today and how they can help you achieve your fitness goals. Dumbbells come in a wide variety of different shapes, sizes, weights, and materials for the individual's needs. So the medical benefits is that dumbbells will help us increase our resting metabolic rate. It'll also increase our lean muscle mass as well as bone mineral density and connective tissue. Dumbbells will help you prevent diabetes and chronic heart disease. So for the first exercise, what we got is we're doing goblet squats. The second exercise we're gonna do is the dumbbell row to really work on the upper part of our back. In the last exercise, what we have is regular chest press. Goblet squats is we're gonna keep the dumbbell close to our body, keeping that core nice and tight, and then we're gonna drop our hips down into about a 90-degree angle and control our body up. The second exercise we got is dumbbell rows, all right? So the biggest thing is keeping those hips and shoulders nice and square, and then we're gonna put our hands and arms on the bench, keeping that elbow tucked in and bringing it back and up, more towards the belly button than the chest, and then control it on down to contract the muscles in the back. The last exercise we have is chest press. So we want to try to keep our feet, hips, back, and head all on the bench. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring our elbows down to the side of our chest. Try not to flare out those elbows. We're going to push the dumbbells up and then control it back down. Thank you for watching. Feel free to try these exercises at home and join us next time on The Peak.
I'm really looking forward to trying out those exercises myself. Recently, I spoke with Terry Wallace from Venture X about the connectivity of the Lehigh Valley. Let's take a look. Welcome to an episode of Unscripted with Russo. I'm Ashley Russo, and I am being joined by Terry Wallace. He's the owner of Venture X Lehigh Valley. If you have not been and seen this amazing, immersive, cooperative working space, you're missing out. It's right on the south side of Bethlehem. Now that you're anchored here and you're really living here, tell me what you love about the Lehigh Valley. What have you discovered or rediscovered that maybe you'd kind of forgotten about?
gotta get the best of multiple worlds here. I mean, this is a big area. This is a big area with a ton of people and a lot going on. But my goodness, everyone knows everyone. And you know, you can jokingly say that's a, you know, I don't know, that's good and bad, but hell no, that's good. It's really good.
It's kind of incredible. I mean, I love that you're pointing it out, because what is incredible is this is not a small area. I mean, we are not a teeny dot on a map. This is a really growing, big, you know, area with Fortune 500 companies, tons and tons of small businesses, tons of open spaces, tons of higher education. And it is amazing. It's a small world. I mean, the phrase "it's a small world" hits home. You know, I always joke that in the Lehigh Valley, that show where they say 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, yeah. I'm convinced the Lehigh Valley is 2 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So
it really is. And like I said, I've only been here now, truly been here, you know, a couple of years. It's just stunning how many people you meet. And when I've got somebody who's in here, I'm meeting, and then somebody else is coming in, I can't tell you how many people I've gone to introduce to one another. And they're like, "Oh my God!" They end up giving them a hug, they give each other a hug or whatever, or an elbow bump or whatever we're doing now. I'm telling you, it's a good sized place. There's a lot of people. There's a lot going on, and everyone seems to know everyone. The other thing I would say about the area, this is on a knock on New York or whatever it might be, but there's such a genuine nature to people. There just is, and there's an authenticity. I'll add a third one, and this is one I will tell you. I'm a little ashamed to say it, but I will. For years, I always thought, oh, the Lehigh Valley, I'll just put out late adopters. Oh my God, stuck in the past, you know, whatever it might be. I have learned that is a strength. That is, and when I say that, it's not late adopters. It's not stuck in the past. There's a respect of history and things like that. I don't see it as a hesitancy to move into other things, but it's a thoughtful approach. You know, we don't have VC folks all over the place spinning up, you know, companies or whatever it might be, and nor should we. There's a work ethic. There's a focus. It's good. It's good. It's got a stability. Venture to even say that a camaraderie, and I think that's part of that. Everyone knows everyone, and I'm even going to say somewhat self-policing. So everyone knows everyone. So be mindful of how you treat people. Be respectful in your business practices. I think most of the folks around here who would be like that anyway. But it's inherent. It's inherent. But
a strong sense of community, which I think it makes people more respectful of those relationships, because we're kind of in it together. There's this sense we're growing the Lehigh Valley together. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Well, with that, Terry, thank you so much for being on Unscripted with Russo. You've been a fabulous guest. Please make sure you check out the Venture X space in Bethlehem. There are more coming. It's an amazing addition to our Lehigh Valley. Thanks, Terry, for being here.
Thank you, Ashley.
You're listening to Unscripted. Until next time.
For the full interview, visit youtube.com/theptv. And don't forget to subscribe to Unscripted with Russo on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Lehigh Valley has been facing a housing crisis, and Allentown is no exception. Let's see how St. Luke's has partnered with local organizations to create a safer place to live.
The housing need in Allentown and Lehigh Valley as a whole is huge. I mean, we've also been seeing the news articles that have been going out recently about the lack of affordable housing here in the Lehigh Valley. We have a social responsibility to lift up the community around us that we serve and that we live in.
St. Luke's understands that housing is a vital component of health, and St. Luke's has worked in conjunction with partners in our community to collaborate on projects that build our community and assist with quality, affordable housing.
The partnership with Habitat Lehigh Valley and St. Luke's Sacred Heart has been absolutely amazing. It started with just a simple conversation about the work they were doing over at St. Luke's Sacred Heart and the want to build up the community around them as they built up the hospital system.
We've identified a block area that surrounds the hospital, and so Habitat goes in and does the exterior work, and then Community Action of the Lehigh Valley does the work on the interior piece. And we at St. Luke's also have a community health worker go out to ensure that folks are connected to resources, and that's a perfect example of partnership.
The importance of safety is probably the #1 priority for many of our families.
We try to do the best we can. But the support of St. Luke's and Habitat is very important.
Sometimes the repairs that we're seeing are upwards of $30,000 to $50,000. So for anybody, even somebody who's financially stable, it's a lot of money.
They did chimney, they did the roof out front. They're gonna help me finish finding out where the water leak is at. Everybody was so professional, nice, and it was like a warm feeling that people can come out and help somebody that, need help, and very respectable people that come into my home. They do an excellent job. I am so happy with it.
It's important because it's all about building a healthy community, right? And the hospital is the center of that, but you also need partners who are able to contribute to what that means. And so that means taking care of the families that live around the hospital as well. And that's how Habitat is able to help support the hospital in their work.
St. Luke's Sacred Heart is committed to the safety and well-being of our community. And by ensuring that our community has safe places to live, we are achieving that first step in optimal health.
Joining me today is Tony DeRay, the CEO of BSI Corporate Benefits and St. Luke's Sacred Heart board member. Thanks for being here, Tony.
Thanks for having me, Ashley.
What is your role in the St. Luke's Sacred Heart Housing Committee? I know that's something near and dear to your heart, and when you got involved with the St. Luke's Sacred Heart board, really wanted to help with that initiative.
I would always say that if I'm going to come onto a board, I want to bring impact in one way or the other. And my first board meeting, Frank Ford, the president of Sacred Heart St. Luke's, mentioned how important it was, not just for what's going on inside the walls at Sacred Heart, but the surrounding community. It's a tough area. It's seen some downtimes, but it's on the way up, and he asked for that support. And that really put off a trigger for me. I'm not going to be much help inside the walls of St. Luke's, helping to cure anything. But outside, that really resonated with me. So that in tune with me knowing Jess Elliott and the Habitat team really started to put it together for me.
Why is it important, do you think, for St. Luke's to invest in the community around them, not just the healthcare they provide in the walls of the hospital? And tell me about the connection between St. Luke's, Habitat, and the city of Allentown.
Well, obviously, St. Luke's has a 100+ year history in all of the Lehigh Valley and in Allentown. And I think that mission of not just being the walls and then inside, I think having a strong community outside of Sacred Heart into the surrounding area is extremely important, because these are a lot of the individuals who are coming into Sacred Heart for care. And a lot of times individuals in those surrounding areas and in general sometimes are untrustful of the medical profession, and being able to break down those walls and show the residents of that community that we're all in this together. And with Habitat, obviously, as the bridge to some of those relationships, I think that's where all of those things come together, because when people have pride in their community, that's going to uplift everybody. And I think in my time with St. Luke's and being on the Sacred Heart board, there is a passion there for community like I haven't seen out of any other hospital system that we deal with across the country in my business.
Speaking of your business, BSI Corporate Benefits, you have a real heart for community, as does your team. Tell us why it's important, you feel, for the for-profit community to be giving back to the nonprofit community, and what resonates for you in the Lehigh Valley.
Well, my family, born and raised, my great-grandfather got off the boat from Italy in 1920 and settled on the east side of Allentown. So Allentown specifically in the Lehigh Valley has a special place. But my great-grandfather, my grandfather spent 80 years combined working in the steel industry at Bethlehem and Allentown. And my parents they're giving human beings. So they're a teacher and a executive assistant, although my mom was a secretary. She doesn't like it when I say executive assistant, but the reality is they instilled in me that idea that you always have to give back. So in my profession, obviously being in charge of a for-profit business, I've never set out to do anything in a specific way. It's just how I was raised. And I don't understand. I don't understand how you could be a thriving for-profit business and live in a community where that community supports you and the success of your organization and the profit of your organization, yet you could not find the time to invest in it.
What are your hopes for the Allentown community surrounding St. Luke's Sacred Heart and the relationship that you see blossoming between the residents of Allentown, St. Luke's, Habitat for Humanity? What do you hope to see from that?
I have been fortunate enough to be able to participate in the revitalization of Allentown and representing some really cool names like the Phantoms and long-term residents, business residents like Gross McGinley law firm's been there forever. So to see JB Riley and his team at City Center and that revitalization, and then this opportunity with Sacred Heart St. Luke's and being part of the board and Habitat, I start to see it all connecting. I start to see it all kind of coming together. And I really think it's block by block, and if you start to look at Allentown, and I think sometimes people look at problems from 50,000 feet and they say, well, where do you start? And then it paralyzes everybody. So if you just look at one block, and then if you break that down and you say one house, so just start with one house, and I think that if you just start to do things that way, it starts to just be a snowball. And I think Frank Ford, the president of Sacred Heart, he's constantly talking about that. As a business owner, I wouldn't know where to start with what we're doing with Habitat or the houses, but I know great people and I know people that know how to get things done. So I'm willing to have that conversation and then say, how can I help? They'll tell you how to help, and then you just have to engage.
It's such great advice, Tony. And I think when it starts with one business, other people start to listen. So thank you to you and BSI for your leadership, your participation in the St. Luke's Sacred Heart Board, and this new amazing project in Allentown with Habitat. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for having me.
Everyone deserves a place to call home. I'm so glad we have the resources to help these families. I'm Ashley Russo. Thanks for watching. To learn more about anything from today's show, go to our website at thepeaktv.com. And remember, every day is an opportunity to be your best self. This is The Peak. Thanks, Holly. I love learning about history.
Yes, I love it.
Ah, damn you, Madison. It was a good delivery.
I know.
Wish I had some. Up next, find out how... Well, portions of this program were paid for by St. Luke's University Health Network. The Peak TV is a production of ASR Media.
Hey, it's Krista. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos.
To see more of the Peak TV, check out our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and catch us on WFMZ Channel 69.